Welcome back, everybody, to True Print for Life. I am your co-host, Maylin Sambois, and I am so excited to be back with my awesome friend now, Beth.
We've bonded. We bonded in episode 1, didn't we?
So much, so much. I knew I was going to like it. I just knew it. So I'm glad that I listened to my intuition. And, as we got into talk a little bit on the previous, episode, you said a couple of things that were very, relatable to me, but also to our audience based on the conversations we have had with our audience in the past. And I want to focus our conversation right now a little bit on that. I want to talk about that term that you used today for the first time I ever heard it, DARVO, and kind of like how can people identify, right? Like we call them red flags, narcissist behavior, or abusers. And kind of like, how can we start identifying that right away if we can?
Okay, let's go into it.
Yeah.
I loved a word that you used, which was, you said you were grateful you listened to your intuition.
Yes.
And we are all born with that innate intuition,
Yes.
right from wrong, knowing what is correct. You feel it in your body.
And your gut.
And in your gut, in your heart, in your head. And it is the tricky person. I like to call them tricky people.
Yep. We use tricky people and narcissism in some areas because, right?
Yes.
It's okay.
I do think that the term narcissist is overused and it almost waters it down. Same thing with gaslighting. I think those are very specific terms that are overused and they really should hold the power. So for now, we're just going to use tricky people.
I like it.
Okay, cool.
It's the same.
It is the same thing, but I don't want to turn people off because they
Right.
do, when people hear certain terms, they stop listening.
Yes, but this
Don't
could be
stop
anybody.
listening.
Yeah.
Right. Tricky people.
Yeah, and there's so many tricky people.
Oh, so many. But their job is to knock out that intuition,
Yes.
to knock you off your center so you don't trust your heart, your mind, your gut. That's their job because, again, they want to take that power. They want your beauty, your light, your power for themselves. And that's where they're tricky.
Yeah.
So DARVO.
Yes. Tell me about this because this is the first time I heard that. I had to Google that, guys. I was like, wait a minute, wow.
So DARVO, where did I first hear this? Okay. So I felt during the pandemic, I got into, I never listened to podcasts before that. Yeah. I'm a busy woman. I'm a mama. I got a business. And so I finally found a podcast that I really liked. It was called A Little Bit Culty. And
Like a cult?
Cult.
Oh my gosh. I thought that's what I heard when you said it.
Cult recovery. And for the hosts, they bring on amazing people. It's for healing. It's for helping to identify tricky people. Like you want to learn about human behavior. They bring on the best people to tell their stories, their wisdom, their experiences, people who've gotten out of cults. The two hosts are a husband and wife team who escaped the cult NXIVM, which was a professional development cult in New Albany, New York.
Really?
Oh, it's fascinating. So not to draw your viewers away, but when you're ready, it is a very good place to listen. And they bring on these wonderful people who help people on their journey of healing from abuse, from mental manipulation. And it's called A Little Bit Culty because there's all different levels of people being kind of culty. It can be a cult of one. It can be a group. It can be professional development. It can even be a multi-level marketing company. Like it is very interesting where these things get in our lives as humans, because all humans want is to belong.
Yes.
They don't get into anything to join. They don't want to get into join a cult or anything. They want to belong.
Yeah,
they want to be accepted, acknowledged, feel safe. Well, what's wrong with that, right?
Nothing unless you go into the wrong space.
But how would you know? How would you know? Because the way that people express before. No narcissist, no tricky person ever is like, oh, I'm going to, I'm going
to hurt you.
No, they're like, you're the best. Oh my gosh, my life was nothing before I met you. You like that voice I used? I don't know where that came from.
Listen, wait. The podcast is a little bit culty?
A little bit culty.
Okay, everybody, we're going to, homework, everybody. It's a little bit of homework after you hear this. Okay. After you hear this, don't stop Googling it right now.
Keep listening.
We're going to talk about that podcast in one of our upcoming podcasts, I'm sure.
Please invite me back because I've listened to every single episode because it's been part of my healing journey.
Yes.
Because the way that they speak about, because I didn't understand what was going on. in my world. I didn't have the wisdom, the words, the vocabulary, the correct way of talking about things without sounding like I was out of my mind and making things up, you know, and blaming people. Like I think that was it. So when I first started on I didn't tell my story for a long time, what happened to me, because I was afraid that people would blame me. Yeah. And then I would sound like I am not taking accountability or ownership for things that happened to me.
Yeah. And you were going through your own experience at the time. And sometimes it's hard, right? When you are in the skin, in the moment. Because let me tell you,
see it.
We're great coaches. I'm a coach. I'm not a therapist, guys. Let's be clear, because I would lose the license. I am a coach. And I can coach you. I can guide you. I can be your biggest accountability partner. I can literally help you achieve your dreams. I'm that person, right? Like I call it transformational guide. But when it comes to me, there's sometimes I'm talking to you and I'm like, Maylin, write that down. That's for you too. Like literally in the moment, I'm telling you something. I'm like, this is for you, girl, right? Because it's hard for ourselves to see and act and take action in certain things for ourselves, right? Because somehow we have sometimes less even compassion and understanding and love, right, for ourselves and we do others. But this is why healing and therapy is so important. But I want to share that, right?
Yes. And jumping off of that, like my 8-year-old, I am teaching him how to understand how to be in this world. And sometimes he'll say things that are very hurtful about himself when he's made a mistake. And I'm like, sweetheart, you're just learning. You've never been 8 years old before. You've never done this before. You're still learning. And would you ever say that to a friend? No. Okay, well, then why are you saying it to yourself? And that is something as a 40-year-old woman I have to consistently keep saying to myself. Because there are all these messages. I'm in marketing, so this is fun. There's all these messages advertisements, all these things that I am not enough. That I hear every single day. Yeah. And I'm tired of it. Yeah. Right? So we have to be our biggest cheerleader. We have to find allies who will be in community with us to help lift us up, to give us our flowers, verbal flowers, not to stomp on them. So, sorry, we need to transition back.
No, absolutely.
And go back to...
So we're going to talk about what DARVO, guys, because let me tell you, we could go here for life. We could write books about this. So... we're going to go with DARVO. We're going to talk about when you are in a relationship, whether it be romantic, non-romantic, familial, right? Friendship, whatever relationship is, because that relationship is such a wide range. So think about anyone you're in community with, you are connected with in any type of shape, work relationships, anything like that. And how do you start identifying red flags from these tricky people? And we're going to really describe the term DARVO and what each letter means.
Yes, thank you. So we talked about intuition. I think a really big red flag that you should note is anytime you feel shame. Anytime you feel uncomfortable or you feel ashamed about something. Well, why? Who's making you feel that way? If somebody else is making you feel that way for some reason, that's a red flag. And I grew up Catholic, so we know about shame and guilt.
I was born Catholic.
I am a recovering Catholic.
You're so cute.
No longer practicing. Walked away because it was toxic to me, because there was too many people in that church who were, in quotes, you can't see me, Christian.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, they can see you and you do.
Oh, hey. Yes. And again, people just always want power over others. I don't understand it. That is not my thing.
And it's hard because I hardly have enough power for me. Like I just like.
No, hold on. May I go there for a second?
Yeah, go there.
All right. You are an intelligent, well-spoken,
thank you,
beautiful soul.
Thank you.
Who speaks truth to power.
Thank you.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
And that is why somebody would want to squash it.
Yes.
Because they want that for themselves. They can't have that. They're not fearless like you are.
Yes.
They don't understand how to step and have that self-confidence. Yeah. So what are they going to do? They're going to squash it.
Right.
And then they're going to feel good and be like, I did that. I put her down.
Because it's easier to put somebody down than actually do the inner work that you need to do to be better, right?
Yes.
And I had to go the other route, right? Because of all the experiences, I decided that I had to work on myself. I had to heal myself because I never wanted to cause harm.
Yes.
Right. And I don't know. I know that I'm human and I'm going to mess it up. Right. Like, and I tell people like, I'm human. So
that is the human experience. You make mistakes. And the only mistake you'll ever make is if you don't learn from a trip up.
Yes.
That's a mistake.
And I'm a lot to manage, and happily so. Like, I have a lot with me, my baby, and then the people around me that I love, that I don't have energy or time or desire to worry about what you're doing over there, right? Like, that's not my thing. So I find it fascinating when people that have lives, I think, are trying to man mine. Or try to like dictate certain things. And I no longer care.
It's because they don't want to heal. They don't want to do the hard work. They don't want to heal themselves.
Yeah. And I'm 40, guys, so I don't care no more. Like, thank God I got
Isn't there something freeing about becoming this age?
And then looking this good, guys. So
I know, right?
So being 40, I'm like, listen, I'm going to go wherever I need to go after life. And I don't care. I no longer want to put energy on those that don't like me or don't whatever. I want to put the energy on those that love me. And I'm trying to reciprocate to the people that have shown me love through these years, the hardest years of my life, how much I love them and appreciate them. That alone will take me a lifetime, because there's so many great people in my life that deserve my love and energy. And I'm one of them. So if I do that, I don't have time to this. So when we talk about DARVO today, I want you to take a moment, because sometimes you are experiencing something right now. You don't even know this is what you're experiencing because you've never heard of this term.
Right.
But you're feeling, I call it crazy, politically correctly, people will call it out of your mind. And
don't know which way is up.
Right, which is up, which is down. You're doubting yourself. When you start doubting yourself, it's also a sign that something, when your confidence is low. Also,
being in control of your, being in your body, not feeling in your body.
Yeah.
So are you having stomach issues? Are you having sleeping issues?
Headaches.
Your body is telling you something.
Cold sweats, guys. Cold sweats. You wake up and the whole bed is like wet, and you're like, what happened? And you didn't pee in the bed. Like, literally, it's the sweat. Your body has just told you this is a warning.
Right. I wish that when I was younger, I understood what the nervous system was, and how it protects you, and how it is your intuition in your body experiencing things, and your body knowing before your brain does.
Yes, because your body was created to protect you. Right.
Yes.
And that's, I think, sometimes nature is so beautiful, because if you can get in nature, but guys, this is part of the second part of this, but if you can get in nature, you can really get in yourself and connect. Like, even just touching the grass with your feet is healing.
Yes.
Incredible. Like, my friends that are into the breath work, they tell me that I see them hugging trees. I love them. And now I go to places and I'm hugging trees too. I'm like, yes, I love you.
It's okay. Take that energy in wherever you can take it. Take in Mother Earth. Come on.
Yes. So let's describe the term DARVO.
Okay.
The D. What is the D?
Deny.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Deny. So when you are working with a tricky person, and by no means am I like an expert on this. Like, I'm not a therapist.
This is our opinion, guys.
This is opinion and lived experience. So there is wisdom here.
Yes.
A tricky person will deny that they ever said that thing.
Whatever offended you, whatever hurt you.
Whatever hurt you, whatever, I mean, even if it was something that was politically incorrect, and they're like, oh, they said something about someone else, right? That gossip that runs deep, right? And so they will deny that they ever said it. I didn't say that. What are you talking about? Or they'll deny that you ever told them something. And
they'll say that you misunderstood what they said when they clearly said it, how you said it. Oh, my, you just gave me a whole story. Okay, but I'm not going to say that. No, that's okay.
You get it. You felt it.
Oh, it came so quickly.
So I do have a bad memory. Okay, let's just be honest. It's why, I don't know why. Defense mechanism probably, but I do have a bad memory. And sometimes so my husband will say something like, I told you, I'm like, I believe you because I got a bad memory. Okay. But people will use that to their advantage. Like, so they'll say, you never told me this. I don't remember that, even though you told them that. And then you feel out of your mind and you start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt the truths that you know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the deny that it ever happened.
If you have experienced somebody doing this, or if you've done this, right? Because sometimes we have to look at this two ways. And this is not to offend. We're not judging anybody, guys. This is hopefully a way to bring light to you, because we're human. We also...
It's hard to be wrong.
Yeah.
As humans.
It is. But we have to recognize, I think self-awareness is key. And I think if you want to be better, right? If you are in a place where maybe you're not doing well, you're hurting others, and you're like, listen, this is not working for me. This is painful. I want to, maybe you start recognizing the things that you are doing to others too that are hurtful. And hopefully today that brings some light. And for those of you that are experiencing this and you are on the other side receiving the hurt, hopefully you start recognizing that you're not out of your mind. These are tactics that people are using. And we're going to share a couple more with you because we're going to describe DARVO. We just went to the D. We have A. And then after we're done with all of them, hopefully we'll give you some tips that we have used ourselves, that we have researched to help you transition, go through this to the other side.
All right, A. You ready for A? Attack.
Okay.
They will attack you.
But attack can look very differently in many different ways, right? It's not like a punch. That's physical attack, but there's also other attacks.
Correct. So I'm thinking verbal attacks. So where maybe you give your opinion about something and they're just like ripping you to shreds on it, or not giving you space, or they're not giving you a place to respond. That's attacking. They're no longer listening. They're just attacking you. And they're attacking you into submission, into being quiet. That's what attacking is going to make for them. That's what they're going to achieve in that attack.
Okay. Yeah. That's that one.
It's terrible. It's a terrible one. Reverse victim.
So R
and V. Reverse victim.
Okay.
So now you're in conversation and then suddenly they're the victim. So let's say they said something that's hurt you, or they've done an action that's hurt you. They're going to now turn it around and make them the victim.
Now, they did this. And you acknowledge to them, right? You let them know.
You hurt me.
Yes, this you just said.
You made me hurt you.
Exactly. That's what we mean, guys. Because sometimes, what do you mean? How do they reverse it? I call it reversing the table. It's like you have a table this way, and all of a sudden it flips. And now it's like you're looking at this person, and you're like, but you just hurt me. I just told you this hurt me. And instead of acknowledging that, now they turn that, and now they become the victim.
Right. And now suddenly the person that was first hurt is apologizing for hurting the person that hurt them. Makes no sense, but this is a tactic and they're masters of it.
And we all have that. I don't know if I have been in that situation when I'm literally have been apologizing to someone and I'm listening. And I'm like, but this doesn't make sense. Why am I apologizing to you when you were the one that did this? I vividly have memories of this. And it's mind-boggling to me. And now as I hear this term, now there's like on my face, because I wrote it down, it is so eye-opening because so many people, people sometimes ask me, why do people don't leave abusers? I had a couple of people, and I used to be one of those people that used to ask that. Why do people not leave abusers?
Like domestic violence, you mean?
Yeah, and domestic violence, it could be physical, it could be mental, right? Manipulation. And I have said to people, sometimes you don't even know you're in it, right? Because you haven't been able to recognize this has become a norm for you. This has become a way of survival. This is actually something you feel comfortable in, unfortunately, because you are now something that you know how to survive this. But they already have told you in your mind that you cannot survive without them. And therefore, the unknown is more scary than the hell that you're living in.
The boiling water and the frog analogy, right? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, something like if you have boiling water and you put a frog in it, that's dangerous. They're going to jump out, right?
They should.
Because it's already boiling. But if you put a frog in boiling water, and this is a terrible analogy. So
yes.
You put the frog in water and then you raise the temperature, they're going to boil to death. They don't know. They don't know anything's going on.
No, because they're becoming accustomed little by little, right? Little by little. Because
chipping away at your personality, your confidence, your essence, your being, until you don't know who you are anymore. I didn't know who the heck I was, right? That's a scary place. I am an amazing person. And I've taken back that power because I've been in years of therapy, in trauma therapy, and really done the hard work to get back here. And now I need other people to know what's going on.
Yes. And I think it's so powerful to share this. And, when we started the podcast, I was a little worried, right? Because I don't share my life on social media like that. I'm a little private, right? Like
I don't either, yeah.
So if you know me, you know I have a kid. If you listen to the podcast, you know I have a child. But if you only look at Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, you may never know that I have a kid, right? Because I'm private that way. But in the podcast, we wanted to be as authentic, as genuine as we could, because that's not what is out there so much. And we wanted people to come in here and be in a safe space. You're not being judged. We all have done something, right? But we wanted to share some light into what we have been through to hopefully, even if it's one person that it touches that needed to listen to that podcast today, that they find a way out of that dark place they're in. right? Because we all been in a dark place, and something we heard took us out of the dark place, and we want to be that light for someone that's experiencing darkness today. So not to give up, right?
Yes.
So when
wait, don't go back to, I still have one more thing to say.
we're still on reverse victim.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, actually going back to something you said specifically about questioning, and I understand because I had the question too, and then I've educated myself about why people won't leave their abusers. Was it less than 35 years ago? Women could not be in control of checkbooks, couldn't be in control of money, couldn't be in control of credit cards, loans, or anything like that. So financially, they could not leave.
Yeah.
And if you have a child, where are you going to go and support that child?
Yeah, that was my mom.
Right? So I understand looking outward in until you start to understand that person's story and to have empathy and to really try to understand their perspective. It is hard to leave these relationships. It is very hard. And quite honestly, people will deny anything is going on because that'll make them look like a victim. And it is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right. That shame, and that is by design.
And even if they have people near them, because one thing that these tricky people are so good at is isolating the victims, the people that are experiencing this, from their loved ones, their families, their friends. So I tell friends and families that are, watching sometimes people's behaviors and think and say, the worst thing you can do is leave her or him alone. You want to still stay close. You want to let them know that you're there for them, right? Because hopefully a day, right, will come where they will earn, they will get the strength. I always support people in these times by suggesting therapy, because I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach. I'm going to tell you what to do, not what you think you should do. So a therapist will help you process those things, right, those traumas.
Right.
And slowly I've seen how people build a confidence, right, after being in therapy, to then make the decision to leave. And then they know that they're not alone, because hopefully you guys, your friends, families are close by to kind of catch them when it's time, right? So I don't judge anymore, because I learned, right? I was in those relationships. I learned what happened. And then now I just say, this is what I see. I'm worried about you, right? And if the person denies it or tells me whatever it is, and I always say, I'm here for you. I'm always going to be here for you. No matter what somebody tells you, I am always here for you. And when you're ready, I'm here. And just checking on them it gives them a light, because this person has told them, whoever it is, whatever gender it is, that they're not going to survive without them, that nobody cares about them, that they're nothing. So when everybody leaves this person because they're tired of seeing the cycle, then what we're doing is affirming what the abuser is saying.
Right.
Right.
They will paint a picture of what would happen if they left, and they just use all these proof points, these
it's
made
a
up
scare
proof
tactic.
points. Yeah, it's a scare tactic to keep them stuck.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think people hopefully will have more empathy, right? Don't judge them, guys. I just say have empathy, because put yourselves in their shoes, right? And not everybody has done the work yet to have the resiliency and the strength to get out.
And about therapy and going to therapy for the first time, they're not going to judge you. No. They have heard it all before. The people who become therapists are some of the kindest people. Their gift to the world is their ear, and to help people make tiny little steps of progress to stand back up on their own feet. So that was a little, I tell my doctor everything. I tell my therapist everything. And in the beginning, I'm like, am I going to get judged? The answer is no. They will never judge you. It is only to help you move forward. And it is okay to find the right fit.
I used to say in my mouth.
Right?
I said, okay, so we're human, okay? So these people are great, and they're professionals, and in order for you to go into this business, because it's a business, right? But you go into this industry to listen to people's hurts and traumas, they also have therapists, because it's a lot to take in, right? I know what my boundaries are and when I can take, and there's times when I actually don't make time to connect with people because I don't have the capacity to listen to the hurt, right? Because then I'm not right. But anytime we open the podcast, we're prepared, because we know, right? Whatever could come, we're prepared. We have done I meditate in the morning. I get ready, because I want to have a safe space for you to be you.
To receive that story.
Yeah, receive it, right?
Yes.
And then connect it to where I need to connect to you. So at the time, for therapists are amazing, but they're human, okay? And it's the right fit is so important. I went through a lot of therapists before I found one that I have had for the past 15 years maybe now. She's about to retire, right? But I love, right? She got to see my dream come to life. Because I used to tell her every year, I'm like, I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby. I want to be a mom. I don't know what I'm going to do. And for her to see my miracle come true was amazing, right? Because that's the connection we made. But it was someone that had to understand me being busy. So for me, when I selected my therapist, was somebody that was in the banking industry before she became a therapist, which is great because I was in the banking industry, which is very toxic sometimes. And she was in the technology industry where I was at the time I met her. And, you know, she was remarried, you know, so she had all these things. She was Christian, which for me was important. She had all these things that connected.
Life experience.
For me.
Yes.
But before her, I had a couple, right?
Right.
Psychiatrist, all that stuff. But she was the one that connected and flexible enough for my crazy schedule, right? Like, oh my gosh. And I think for me, that was a great fit. But I always tell people, you may not have find the right fit at first.
Right.
And this is important to be like, do we connect? Right? And maybe give it 1 or 2 sessions. But if it doesn't, it's okay. They know this. You need to be comfortable to find somebody that you fit with.
Yes. Agreed. Give yourself permission to try multiple times.
Yes.
I was in active therapy when things were going on for me and not going well, when I was in a very toxic work environment. And my therapist was not helpful at all. Not at all. He didn't understand it. So not all therapists are created equal either. So when I went into really was like, okay, 2023, we're going to work on ourselves. We're going to find the right therapist. I actually sought out a trauma-informed therapist.
Yes.
Not all of them are.
And
it's not required more than maybe one class that they go through.
Yeah.
So there's other additional certifications. And the person that I landed with, she did have those credentials, and
that's good.
She made me feel so much better, because when I talk about what was going on with me, like, it's not big T, capitalized T trauma, right? We all know what those are, and I don't want to speak to hurt anyone, and you know what they are if they've happened to you. But mine were a lot of little T's compacted upon one another.
I made it a big T.
And made it a big T. And we're not in competition here. Whatever it is you need to work through, a therapist is going to help you out. And that's what I want to stress, to get and seek the mental health.
Yeah. And even if you're fine, which is fine, because I have had a therapist for 15 years, and even when nothing was happening that was like what you consider wrong, I still wanted to do a health check-in. I had a monthly appointment just to talk about things and put things in perspective, and making sure that I did like a cleanse, right, of my mind, right? So, and that really helped me. So I think for someone that's like, well, you know, I went through things, but I'm fine now. Like, you still can you go to the doctor every year even if you feel fine, because there's a physical check.
You got to check up.
I just get a checkup. Get a checkup and see what needs to be tuned. That's what I was saying.
You're an advisor for your life too, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It really is. Are we ready to go over to O?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So DARVO, the last letter is O. I say offend because it's easier for me to explain that way, but I think it's actually offender if you look it up in a graphic.
That's what Google said.
Yeah, that's what Google said. Because we did Google this to make sure I got it right. And so offender. So when you're in that conversation with a tricky person, let's give you an example. They love to stun people into silence. They love to have that power. So it could be just something that is politically incorrect. Could be through politics, talk about religion, talk about heated topics in the world. Whatever comes out of their mouth, it'll just be like, it'll stun you. And it'll stun you into silence and just be like, what? And then you try to understand what they mean. And then if you ever get like a point up on them and be like, what are you talking about? Then they're going to pull out the D card and say, deny. I never said it that way. That's not what I meant. You're confused. You misunderstood me. So, and then I can't believe you would think that about me. And then it would be the reverse victim card, right?
And it's like a cycle.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like you're a hamster on a wheel. Like, you just can't get out of that.
You feel out of your mind. It doesn't make sense. You don't know what way is up. And you try to journal on it and figure things out, because I love people and I love how they tick. I couldn't figure out what was going on with the people I was interacting with. It was hurtful and it was painful, and it comes from the people you least likely expect it. You know, I talked to my therapist about this. I started like really going back in my childhood and be like, am I just a sucker? Do I have like easy to manipulate on my forehead? Like, what is going on? And it's just different personality traits, and it comes from different family units and how people are raised. And if they feel like they don't have power at home, then they'll go out and hurt other people. And I was looking through some of my friends from like grade school and kind of looking through and like these different people in my life who have liked to control the decisions that I made. And in some ways it was a friendship. In some way it was a mentor. And I'm just like, wow, they really wanted agency over my decision. And in some cases, I didn't understand what was going on. I walked away because it didn't feel good. That was amazing. But it's just weird how it's everywhere. It really is. And the world is hurt, right?
It is. The whole world's hurt. And I think, which is why I always say, I'm not God. I'm not going to be able to change the world per se. Who knows? But I can move the needle. So what I refuse to do is not do anything, right? Like I have to do something.
Right.
And if that something supports one person, then my job is done, right? So in the past, I was like, I'm going to change the world. I'm like, okay, girl, let's just take a moment.
Let's keep our energy for ourselves.
Yes.
You cannot pour from an empty cup. Yeah.
It's a lot. And in the past, I used to do things because I wanted to help people and never thought about myself. And now I know growth because it has changed. Because now it's like, I want to do this because I want to help me to be a better person, to be full. So then I can give from a full cup and not an empty cup, because I don't want to be resentful when I'm giving either, right? And I always say it's a choice. So when I'm making a decision, I'm making a choice. And I go with that choice, right? Like I chose, right? Even with the people that I've been with that had not been great, I have to remind myself that I made the choice to be with them,
Right.
And I made the choice, right? At the end to leave. So it was a choice. And I'm grateful that I was able to make the choice to go in, learn my lessons, and the choice to get out and learn my lessons.
You said something earlier about you, in the beginning, you would give everything, all the energy away to other people and save none for yourself. And we bring it back because we bonded a little bit about being brought up Catholic. And I don't necessarily know if this is it, but I know from a young age I was conditioned to never think about myself and to always help others, which is admirable.
Yes.
But when you leave nothing for yourself, that is very toxic and very damaging.
That's the part they left out. I feel like they just thought it was implied maybe, but I just never got the implied part, right? I like to believe, maybe they didn't even know. This is the thing. If I think about my parents, right? Like I love my parents. They didn't know, right? They were not given that to them.
Yes.
And they didn't do the work because they didn't have the tools
to
do the work that I have now.
Right. And when you're a parent, you're not given an instruction manual on how to be a parent. We're all making this up as we go along.
Every single
My parents did the best they could with what they had, and likewise with their parents. But when you just have this pain that goes and creeps through generations, like what is it? Pain goes from generation to generation until someone stops to feel it.
And I am the one that stops it. So
I'm stopping to feel it.
Yeah,
That's painful.
When I was pregnant, I made a decision, which is when I decided to separate right from the donor, and I said, I have to stop this.
Yeah.
Because I had a decision, and I was gonna be either repeat what my mother went through, or do this whole thing that I have no idea how it's gonna go, but it's different, right? And less trauma. And I chose the harder route, I believe, at the moment in my mind, right? Like the scariest route. Because I knew that the other alternative, even though it was safe, to be honest, right? I felt safe. Like I know how to survive in this. But I knew it wasn't going to be for my kid. And I said, it stops with me. It ends with me, right? Like I'm the one that's going to end this, because I cannot pass this to my child, to his kids, if he decides to do that. But baby, please. Okay, anyways. So, because I'm like, it's just you and me. But yes, I think that was a powerful thing. And I think we are tasked, because we're healing our generation, we're healing ourselves, with that wonderful responsibility of showing our kids a different way.
And showing younger generations too.
Yeah.
I am so tired of being crapped on in the media for being a millennial. And then now I see it's like switching to Gen Z and they're getting crapped on. I'm like, why does this keep continuing? Can't everybody just get along?
I don't follow the thinkings. Like I hear about like, what year? I was like, I don't have time for that. It doesn't help me.
Oh, no. Agreed. But
it's hard. Yeah. It's very difficult.
Everybody that's older than you is always going to complain about people that are younger. And I'm just tired, and I want to stop that. I want to be able to pay it forward, to be like, no, help the world heal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I can't tell you how many times I have dug knives, in quotes, out of my back from other women, older women. I'm tired of it. I don't have energy for that. No.
Yeah.
So if we take care of ourselves and make sure we're whole, then that's less suffering in the world. And now that everybody, hopefully from this podcast, is aware of what DARVO means, what it stands for, and to protect yourself from ugly, tricky people, we can have that peace, and we can use that energy to foster creativity in the world, to create beauty in the world that is so needed, and to help others, not even to help others heal, but just to be yourself healed. You don't need that responsibility. Just living your life will show others that there is a path.
Yes, that's the best way. Thank you. And we want people to it's hard to walk away from DARVO, okay, guys, because you are conditioned in a way. DARVO doesn't start the moment you meet the person. It's something that slowly, right?
Hold on. It's something that we were conditioned from the cradle.
Yes.
All the messages that we receive about gender, about inequities, about different races and things, like all this trash that gets put into our heads from society. It starts back there. And then when you get into a relationship with someone who's a tricky person.
But the tricky people are so good. Like, I have to give them credit because they
don't give them any credit. They would deserve no credit.
But I'm just saying, if they use that intelligence for good.
I don't know if they're that intelligent. I'm sorry.
Well, I like to believe that if they use their tactics for good and they were people of goodness, they will be more powerful as good people because they're so powerful at hurting, right? Like, I just wish they could turn that power for good.
But hold, I know I'm interrupting. I know. I apologize. But they're hurt people. They're not brave enough to go and do the hard work and undo that pain so they don't inflict it upon others. They're taking the easy route. Yeah,
and then they just find a new victim once they are discovered. But I want people that if you are in this situation, right, and we're not therapists, guys, we're just people that have lived experience, right? We have supported people through things like this. We want you to be we want you to be happy. We want you to be in a safe space. You deserve to be safe. You deserve to wake up and not have to walk on eggshells. You deserve to have a peaceful mind and a beautiful life. You deserve all of that. You deserve it. And I don't know what people have told you, but it's not true. You are enough. You are amazing as you are. And if someone that you're with is making you feel less than, even if it's at work, if they're making you feel like you're not enough, that you're not beautiful, you're not smart, you're not intelligent, that you're nothing without them, that is your biggest sign that this is wrong, that this is dangerous, and I need you to find help. Okay, so in our Femergy website under resources, so femergy.org, we have a whole list of resources. If you go to 211.org or call, just dial 211, you will also get resources. Tell them you need help, and they'll give you a therapist near you. They'll give you some resources near you. It doesn't matter what state you are in. And if you're out of the country and you're like, there's nothing in our country, because I know I come from Dominican Republic, reach out to us, right? Like, send us a message on Instagram. We'll be happy to try to connect you with some resources that we may know. But at least you know that someone, right? Like, we care. This is why we do what we do. You're not alone, and this is temporary. And you have the power to change this. You are so powerful. So please keep that. Please remember that. Please do that. We hope that today's episode was helpful for people. I know it was great for me.
I think it was healing for me to be able to live through terrible experiences and to be able to share that wisdom, to pay it forward so other people don't have to deal with it. So they know their self-worth, so they're able to advocate for themselves and to say no. Right? No is a full sentence. You don't need to make excuses. You just say no.
Period.
And you walk away.
Yes. Oh, it's been so good talking to you. I could talk to you forever. I can see this is so good that I thought about this for the podcast. But we definitely want to have you back. So we're going to have you back because I think a couple months from now, say, I don't know if a year, a couple months from now, I think we have more to share with the audience. And I would love to be able to do that, to be honored to do that. So you and a family member, if you want, whoever, but I would love, love, love to have you back. So thank you, Beth, for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me to tell my story and for listening and for participating, and no judgment, right? We're all works in progress. We're all messy individuals. And if you're able to share a piece of your story with other people, then it could be that powerful thing they need to hear in that moment.
Yes. You're all welcome to let us know if you want to join us. We're here for you. Here at True Print for Life, we always say at the end, right? Because this is not just about us, but this is bigger than you. Thank you so much for listening today. We're excited and we hope that you follow us on
Instagram, True Print for Life, YouTube channel, also True Print for Life. And make sure that you share, like, watch our videos. Make sure that you follow us on all streaming platforms.